in San Francisco. What's going on, Robin? You're on with Larry and Dibs today.
Hey, Sugar, how you doing?
Good, Robin. How are you?
I'm all right. Let me tell you something, Dibs, about them e-bikes, though. They equally bad on the street, too, especially when you're going on Fail Street. I be saying to myself, out the street for somebody hits you, okay? And then you're holding up traffic, and then on them little motorcycles, and they have two on it, which is illegal. I swear to God, them and the bikers, I'm sorry if you ride bikes, Dad. I can't stand y'all, okay? I'm trying to get to where I got to go, and y'all just holding up the game. Anyway, I want to say this. What inspired me to call was Larry. I'm with you, Larry, about, Curtis. You know what we call them in my hood?
What's that?
Hood coaches. Like hood coaches from the peanut gallery, okay? That's what my daughter called. When I was trying to diagnose my knee, she said, oh, my God, the hood diagnosis. Go to the damn doctor, Mama. So that's what we call it.
It's great. It's great to have an opinion, but when you start stating it like, with total certainty that Kerr is like when he's the head coach of the Olympic team, the guy clearly knows his ball, and also it's so much about bringing the personalities along. And here we are, and everybody. I mean, they've got a good vibe about them right now. Beyond the way they're playing, they got a great vibe, and that's a lot. I credit Steve with that.
Yeah, see, but the problem is you don't have people that think beyond other than what's in front of them. So I just want to say this because I know I got a lot. I got more time than most. Okay, you're absolutely right about the team, but here's the deal: you actually need talent. Right, talent. Like we don't have money. The root of everything starts with money. So they're talking about rotations. He's been trying to figure out rotations all year, simply because you don't have the level of talent that you had before. So you got to give, something to the coach, and everybody's looking for the next superstar. So there's no superstar coming. Okay, and the superstar we had, you ran him off, and they ran him off too. So, I mean, they don't look at things in totality, and that's what pisses me off. In terms of how I feel tonight, it is what it is. If they lose, they lose. Am I nervous? I'm all of the above, but it's how they play. Last thing I want to say, they keep blaming Kerr for the vets, but you know what? I don't want to play the youngsters, but and he likes vets, but you got to realize something. The vets had something to do with the youngsters not playing until they realized they needed them. Peace out, guys.
Thanks, Robin. Appreciate the phone call as always. Have a great weekend. And, I think that Steve kind of both benefited and didn't benefit from the injuries this year because he was kind of forced to play the young guys more than he otherwise might have if it wasn't for the Draymond suspension and the Wiggins brief absence, which led to Jonathan Kuminga getting more run. Pods popped early while Clay was kind of struggling. So the veterans, in their own way, gave life to Steve Kerr and gave license, rather, for him to be able to play them more because they weren't holding it down.
I never fell into that, October, November trap of, what are we going to do with, this guy and that guy? Because you have an older team.
Right.
And you knew there was, now we didn't know Draymond was going to miss 25 games, but you had an older team and you knew that there was going to be plenty of minutes for the young guys. The question I would have for you, is it as simple as Moody and Looney as far as when Clay and Draymond come back, those guys' minutes are just gone? They're just out of the rotation completely?
I think so. And we talked to Steve Kerr about that earlier in the week. And, he, of course, is always applauding Moses Moody for being ready and staying ready. And, Kevon's minutes are the ones that are probably going to go away. I look at that Laker game and the 9-man rotation that he went with, which was Pods and GP2 off the bench along with CP3 and Kuminga. And I think that's going to probably be his base 9. He did mention, though, if the matchup is right, then Moody could get some additional minutes or Kevon Looney could come in depending on, the size of the opponent and what they might bring. We don't know about Gary Payton II tonight and his availability. If he's unable to go, I think Moses Moody would get his minutes like he kind of did last night, getting those 21. But feels to me like the Laker game is when Steve really started to figure out what he wanted to do when everyone's available.
The only thing I would I would, if Steve were sitting here and we were actually, and we weren't necessarily on the radio, we're just sitting here, we're just chopping it up. I would say to Steve, man, it's too bad that you couldn't get Moses going for any consistent amount of time. If there's one thing that it kind of doesn't sit well with me, is it just seems like the Warriors can't really rely on Andrew Wiggins, and then every time he comes back in front of Moses Moody. And it always costs Moody minutes and time on the floor.
Yeah.
And it's like, I really think that, Moses Moody is good enough to have a regular rotation spot. There's only so many guys you can have in your rotation. I know it's difficult because you're paying Wiggins a mint.
Right.
And he has some great nights, but
it's the Brokeback Mountain thing.
It's like Wiggins is inconsistent, and Moody doesn't get enough time to ever build any consistency.
I wish I knew how to quit you, is what Steve is essentially saying to Andrew Wiggins and the team, is because when Andrew plays well, he's way better than Moses Moody probably will ever be. Moses Moody's much more consistent, but Andrew's upside is far higher. But your point is well taken. Andrew so often, or up until the last couple of weeks, he's been much more consistent, but all year it's been on again, off again, which is maddening. But
I would have liked to have seen the Warriors move Wiggins for a future one at the deadline.
I don't know if you would have gotten a future one for him.
Really? You don't think so?
I think that the league is down on Andrew
Even a
Wiggins.
late one?
Well, and
I mean, he's got a big contract. That
3 more
works
years
against
too.
it. But I mean, if you could have found that team that would have given you a first, man, I would have loved to have gone with Moody and seen what it looked like.
I think they shopped him, and I would imagine they shopped him pretty heavy, but they didn't like what they were hearing back. It will be interesting in the offseason what they do, how they wind up maybe affects what they'll think about in terms of Andrew Wiggins and others. But Mark and I made a radio vow, that we weren't going to talk about the offseason. We're going to stay in the moment.
I've been driving around the Bay the last couple of days, and I've heard you reference that many times. So you've broken that vow.
We have. It's hard.
Yeah.
And just right there, when you talk about Andrew Wiggins, it's hard not to skip ahead to what comes next. But I'm really trying to drill down on tonight, Larry. Game 81, game of the year, and the excitement level that I'm feeling. Let's go to Terrence in Berkeley, who wants to weigh in on tonight and vibes. What's going on, Terrence? You're on with Willard and Dibs. Larry in for Mark.
Hey, nice to talk to you guys, man. My situation is the vibe at the Chase Center. It's kind of taken a different vibe from last year to this year, and the enthusiasm level. I don't know if it's the PA announcer, our cheerleading guy, or just the fans in general. I was over at Golden One last night for the Kings and the Pelicans game, and they got a vibe. They got a vibe there. I mean, I don't want to get cowbells, but just something to kind of spark. We're nothing in the arena where we were out in Oakland. That's a whole different stadium. But the Warriors get more enthusiasm on the road versus seems like a Chase Center sometimes.
Are you going at my man Franco Finn?
Not so hard, but I think he can do a better job.
Joking.
I mean, it's like at Golden One they have like a chant. Keegan, then the fan says Murray, or just we need something to kind of get us going there as, the sixth person on the court.
Yeah. Thank you, Terrence. I think it's a little bit of an uphill battle, and comparisons to Oakland are unfair because it is a little bit of a different demographic, not only Peninsula versus East Bay, but the amount of money that is needed to get into Chase Center is more than what was needed in Oakland. And I don't mean to go all W.E.B. Du Bois on you and talk about demographics and historical ramifications.
People that are well-heeled can't cheer.
Not can't, but won't. Rich people don't cheer as loudly as people without means. And this is something that is just a theory of mine. I've not compared decibel ratings to, tax brackets, but it feels to me like more well-heeled people are less inclined to wear the free shirt and also less inclined to get on their feet and chant "Let's Go Warriors" 20 minutes before tip.
Are you saying poor people cheer louder than rich people?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's because it matters to them more.
I don't know about that, but I think Sacramento, just from going to school up there for college and just that vibe, it has kind of a little bit of a college vibe. It's got a college town vibe.
And plus, they have that hunger, Larry, because they've never done it.
Yeah.
They have 0 NBA Finals appearances, let alone rings.
Yeah.
They got a cute little purple beam and, some chance, which is great. I'm happy for them.
Yeah, they get a nice arena. I
haven't been there. Yeah, it looks nice.
It's a nice arena.
It's no Arco, but
I like, and they get a nice little whatever outside mall area, dining area. It's cool. They've kind of renovated the whole K Street downtown thing. But yeah, I just think I think it's always been like that. I think Sacramento Warrior fans has always been a little. I mean, it rocked at Oracle.
Yeah.
I mean, it rocked. But I think there's a college kind of like, I don't want to say it's hokey, but there's a college vibe to the Kings in Sacramento, and I'll be eager to see if that carries over to the A's when they go do their 3-year run up there. I bet it will. Be loud, it'll be raucous, and
I'm gonna pretend you didn't mention that team on this show. I wish you wouldn't. It makes my stomach turn a little bit, to be honest.
We got to go up there in a year and have a few beers and watch some ball
at Old Rayleigh Field.
Yeah, why not?
Which is now it's Sutter Health. Thank you, Grandy.
But you know what? Nighttime weather in Sac, it's nice in the summertime. It's beautiful.
Let's go to L in Pacifica. We're getting hyped not about the A's in Sacramento, but about the Warriors hosting New Orleans tonight. L, how you feeling about the Warriors heading into these last couple of games in the regular year?
Hey, yeah, thanks for taking my call, guys. First of all, I just want to say we've won so many championships at this point that we're not going to be cheering for a win. You know what I mean? We're going to be cheering for a winning season and a chance to be a champion. So it's the reason we don't chase that Chase Arena is almost like going to a symphony the first time, and you're like, and this happened to me. Oh my God! Like, he's so good. Let's clap it up, and nobody around you is clapping because they've been there so many times. And then you have, a couple glasses of champagne. You go to a couple more shows, and you're like, oh, yeah, he's really good. But don't clap. Keep it up. So that's really where we're at right now. We won so many championships that to get the team and to get the fans up cheering and excited about it, it's got to be championships. And as far as how I feel about the Warriors right now, guys, I think we might just be the most dangerous team in the play-in and the playoffs. We're the only team that can probably say we're 50-50. They can go all the way or just, lose in the first round because of how hot this team can get. No other team can say that. There's teams that, are really good, but they have some matchup problems. So I think for the Warriors, they play their best when they don't have a lot to prove. Even the years that they won championships, when they're up, when they're ahead, when they're having fun, that's when they're the most dangerous. And because they have nothing to lose, they're already going to win the game. So I would watch out for the Warriors, guys. If Steph, Clay, and Draymond catch fire during these playoffs, which they're looking like they might do it, I'd be careful playing the Warriors, and I should be very, very excited. Win or bust, they did everything they could, given the circumstances.
Thanks, Al. We're losing you a little bit there. I appreciate it. And, dangerous. 50-50 go all the way or get knocked out in the play-in. I'm not sure if I'm willing to buy
it's
into
not
that.
50-50.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pie in the sky. But I hear what he's saying. Yeah, I mean, the guy that I fear tonight, and you've already brought up McCollum, to me it's Trey Murphy. Trey Murphy is 6'9". He's nearly a 40% three-point shooter. He had 27 last night against Sacramento. Trey Murphy is a guy that you really have to extend on because he's a 6'9" three-point sniper. I mean, if you're 6'9", you got to get out there on a guy. Remember Matt Bullard with the Rockets way back.
Yeah.
He was a 6'10" three-point shooter. If you're 6'9" and you can hit threes, man, you got to close way out on that guy. And to me, that's the guy that worries me tonight. If they can keep Trey Murphy closer to 17 instead of 27, I love Golden State's chances tonight. But if Trey Murphy, goes for 30 and he's hitting all these open threes, to me, that's going to make it a tough battle tonight.
Yeah, 27, you mentioned it last night, 6 of 12 from 3. McCollum, 9 of 12 from distance as New Orleans shot 55% from behind the line, 22 of 40. And that game was not much in doubt from start to finish. New Orleans jumped on the Kings, and they handled it out there at Golden One and putting the Kings, Lakers, and Warriors into a 3-way tie for the 8, 9, and 10 seeds. Kings hold the tiebreaker over both. Warriors hold the tiebreaker over the Lakers. So Sacramento would need to lose 1. If the Warriors win 2, they can still capture the 8 seed. 888-957-9570. We're getting excited for tonight's game. Larry is in for Mark Willard. We're taking your calls all the way up until Warriors Live. We're going to take a brief break at 3:15. Tim Roy going to join us.
Nice.
As Tim gets back behind the microphone tonight at home. He's been totally dialed in on all these Warrior games, the Laker game, and certainly last night's Portland game. So we'll get Tim's thoughts and we'll gauge his excitement level as we head toward tip time tonight at Chase Center. John's in the Yoon, and John's feeling good right now. What's going on, John? You're on with Willard and Dibs. Larry in for Mark.
Hey, guys. How you guys doing this afternoon?
Good, John. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Listen, I'm not really worried about the game tonight. You know, I've enjoyed the season. I really, really enjoyed watching the young guys play. So, you know, win or lose, you know, I'll take either or. I mean, I'd rather have them win, but I think it's been a really, really memorable season, to say the least, everything that's happened to them. And for them to be where they're at now, you know, you got to tip your hat out to Coach Kerr and all the fellas. And one more thing, too. They were talking about Jonathan Kuminga, about, you know, his minutes will probably go down during the playoffs because of how he played last night. If he played badly and he scored 19 points with 8 rebounds, you know what? I'll take that every day. So I'm sure he's going to start playing better. So, you know, they got to lay off Jonathan. I think the young man's going to be a terrific ball player, which I think he already is, and he's only going to get better. And I think the future for the Warriors, to see all these young fellas, I think we're headed to the right direction. And let's go Dubs. Let's take care of business. Thank you, fellas.
Right on, John. Appreciate the call. And I don't think we're going too hard on Jonathan Kuminga. Yes, 19 and 6 last night. The 4 turnovers for me is an area where he will continue to get better. I just thought that there were times, especially late in that game, fourth quarter, he was playing a little bit out of control for my tastes.
I just love the way he's playing. To me, that was isolated. You look at him the last 15 games. He understands the spacing. He understands the shot clock. He understands when to take it to the hole, when to find somebody. He's making the right basketball play. Even last night, look at the efficiency. He took 2 threes. He made 1. He went to the free throw line 4 times. He made all 4. He's not taking a lot of bad shots. He's not piling up tons and tons of turnovers. Though last night he did have 4. But overall, I love what I'm seeing from Kuminga, because how many guys can go to the hole with the kind of speed and ferocity that he can and still find, somebody for a higher percentage shot? In the past, he would have taken it all the way to the hole, tried to flush it on somebody, draw an offensive foul, just try to do too much. Now it's like his vision of the floor on his drives is so much better than it used to be. And he'll find guys on the perimeter. He'll find guys for lobs. He'll find guys, cutting to the hoop. I love the way Kuminga's playing. I would just try to encourage him. And if he has a rough moment in a pressure-filled situation, Kerr just needs to maybe take him out, but just, put him right back in and show that confidence. Because last year in the playoffs, he didn't play great. They yanked him, and all of a sudden it was like he was totally lost his confidence.
Absolutely. And he deserved to get yanked because he was playing tentatively, and he was a net minus for the team. And I think he spent time this summer working on not only his game, but his mentals. And he's come back and made that classic third-year leap. 888-9